Many travelers from Lagos Airport missed their flights on Monday as traffic gridlock gripped the toll gate linking the international and domestic wings. The cashless payment system took effect, with officials rejecting cash, forcing motorists to pay via POS or register on the spot for the new access card. The backlog stretched from the airport road to the toll gate, with commuters spending over an hour on a stretch of less than 2 kilometers. An official at FAAN or FAAN admitted the gridlock was worsened by motorists waiting until the last minute to register. The access card is free but carries a 500 naira maintenance fee when loaded. Similar chaos was reported at the Abuja airport, where many drivers were turned away for lacking the mandatory card. FAAN apologized in a statement acknowledging initial adjustment challenges while urging patience and cooperation. Well, for more clarifications about the latest cashless policy implemented by the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria across airports in Nigeria, the Director of Commercial and Business Development at FAAN, that's Adebola Agunbiade, joins us now for a chat about the impact of the new payment automation policy on travelers and FAAN operations. Good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us here on Newsday.
Good afternoon.
Now, of course, we saw what occurred in the airports, Lagos, like I just mentioned earlier on. But can you give us a clearer sense of how this has affected everyday Nigerians trying to get to their various destinations?
Okay, thank you for that. I think I'll first talk about what the policy is about. So the cashless policy is basically a policy that the federal government is a federal government directive asking all agencies to go cashless. And for us, this was a good thing because we've also been looking for ways to plug leakages within the agency. So sometime last year, we came up with an idea to sort of find means in which people or our passengers and users of the airport environment could make payments seamlessly. We considered the fastest, one of our fastest paced revenue points, which is the access gate. For us, if we were able to find a means of payment that would allow maybe a 1 or 2 or 3 seconds payment time between the passenger and making their payment for using the toll, we felt that would be a reasonable option for us. So we decided to come up with a contactless solution, which means I'm able to go to the toll, just tap with my card and my payment is deducted and I go. And we came up with this card, the airport card, which everybody has been hearing about. We came up with that last year. It was officially launched in September. And we actually had a very good turnout from when the card was introduced. Now, how does the card work? It's very simple. It's a 1-minute registration. You log into the website. It's www.gocashless.fan.gov.ng. Once you log on there, just put in your name and your phone number. You get registered, fund your wallet, and then you can just tap and go with the card. The idea behind the card was the fact that it's a closed loop card, which means that the card actually never fails. One of the issues that we had at our access gates, we've been using POS terminals. That's the regular POS terminals that you can actually go and just pay with your bank ATM. We've been using those ATMs and the POS at all of our revenue points. But we found that the turnaround time for payment was very, very slow. So you would find that a user may take maybe between 5 to 8 minutes to make a payment, which was not acceptable for us at our access gates. So for us, the closed loop card was a very fantastic option that would allow quick payments, very seamless, within a very short time. It literally takes 2 seconds to make payments using that card. We didn't stop there. We also still continued the use of our e-tags. We have our stakeholders and those who are very frequent airport users. So we also have the e-tags, which they are able to purchase from any of our commercial offices at the airport. The e-tags is also a very fast means. Once you get to the access gate, the RFID picks your tag and the boom opens and you go. So that is also an option for payment. We still did not stop there. We also still said we have the chip and pin POSs, so I can go to the gate and still pay using my bank card, even though this is a longer process. So we created different options for our users to be able to make payments at our facilities without using cash. So that is basically how this process has worked up till today. Now, looking at the effect that it's had at our access gates, especially in Lagos and Abuja, I believe it's just a teething phase. We've been putting out information since September on how to access the card. Between September and the 1st of March, when we started enforcement, we had literally given out over 30,000 cards. That is onboarded users. As we speak today, we've onboarded over 70,000. So this tells us that there's a good adoption mode for these cards. We just need Nigerians to try to get their cards, get registered before you get to the access gates. It makes it easier. It will help to reduce the traffic at the gate. And we also didn't stop there. We've come up with onboarding areas. In Lagos today, we have about 4 different spaces that anyone can go get themselves onboarded before you get to the access gates. In Abuja, we have the same thing. We've gotten our staff, ad hoc staff, to actually be speaking to people and helping them on board just to find ways, to reduce the pressure on commuters.
Thank you. Thank you for that detailed, recollection of everything that's kind of happened up until this moment. But if we want to talk about the gridlock at the airports in Lagos and Abuja, there's a sense that a lot of travelers had no idea that this was happening. I know that on the government side, they've kind of said, and as you've mentioned, it started in September. You started telling the public about this program in September. So who's responsible for the mess, essentially, that was caused at the airport? Is it a lack of sensitization, or what more could have been done so that more people were aware and this didn't happen in the first place?
Well, I wouldn't want to put the blame on anyone, right? I would say that on our side as FAAN, we tried our best to do as much as possible regarding sensitization. In September, we had press conferences where we spoke about this. From September till now, we had the onboarding stations at the access gates. We were on radio multiple times speaking about the transitioning that was going to happen. We also had our Director of Public Affairs also speaking to Nigerians on radio, on TV, on different stations. I feel we also had a lot of signages around the access gates in particular, because that is a key area for us where most users actually would drive past towards the airport. So we had quite a lot of sensitization. We had different adverts on billboards within the cities. The information was out there. It was out there. So I wouldn't want to put the blame on any party to say it is from our side or it's from the Nigerian side. I feel like the information has been out there. It may not have been, maybe for one reason or the other, some people may have missed it, but because we also had a good turnout of people who were coming to ask, to request to get onboarded even before the 1st, that told us that I think we did do a relatively good work putting out information for Nigerians.
Well, but the test was yesterday. I understand the intention, but we must measure objectives by outcomes based on the vast inconvenience that Nigerians experienced, or Lagosians, those who reside in Lagos, experienced yesterday. It's an indicator that probably things didn't go as well as you would have liked. So bearing that in mind and knowing that we're at a time where there's so much information overload, what are you going to do differently, to still ensure that while this process is adopted, it's not as grueling as was the case yesterday moving forward?
Okay, so I would first like to apologize to Nigerians for the distress that they've been encountering at our gates. We have been speaking with them to find better ways or more ways to try to minimize the pressure on everyone. So within the next week, we're going to see multiple onboarding stations coming up, not just within the airport environment. We're going to see some banks, we're partnering with some banks, so people can walk in there to pick up their cards. We're also partnering with some other private organizations within different cities. So you don't have to wait until you get to the airport. You can actually drive into some of those places to pick up your card. We'll be putting out those information within the next week. We're also trying to solicit to the banks. Now, if you have some commercial banks in Nigeria today have the NFC function enabled on their cards. So if you have a card from your bank that is NFC enabled, you can actually use the card at any of these terminals. You would still have, it will still be the same 1 second, 2 second process. So I will encourage Nigerians to please speak with your account officers or your bankers to find out if your cards are enabled, are NFC enabled, because then you don't necessarily have to get our card. You can actually use your bank card to pay. We're also putting out lots more ad hoc staff. We're setting up different onboarding stations all around the airport because we believe that one of the ways to ease the tension is if users are able to access all of these facilities before they get to the airport. So you'll be able to pick up your e-tags, you'll be able to buy to get the cards, get yourself onboarded way before you get to the airport. So that would help us greatly reduce the tension and the pressure at the gates. I believe it will.
Great.
As we speak today, I can categorically tell you that in Abuja and Lagos, the pressure is greatly reduced from what we saw on Sunday and Monday. It is, and we believe that by the end of this week, it would have this would be a thing of the past.
Okay. On that note, thank you very much, Ms. Adebola Agunbiade, for talking to us about the gridlock going on at airports in Lagos and Abuja.